Sup? I'm Joseph Sideman. That's my last name.
I'm Yona Weinrib.
And we're making a podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
This idea kind of started with Joe and a few other people in his past life. Not that he's lived multiple lives, but in his past life.
One continuous life, yeah.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
This translated it. The phone that I'm using to record it translates like everything we say. And so I'm speaker 2. And you're speaker 3. And the bees in our room must be speaker 1.
Wow.
And it translated 14 years of life. So I'm 14 years old now. We're going to keep to that. I don't know who speaker 1 is. That's funny. Guess I just sound like multiple disorder, like personality disorder in my voice.
Alright, so what do you want to speak about today?
That's a good question.
We could talk.
I could open up the wonderful. What did I name this book? I named the book. Did I ever tell you that?
Maybe, I don't remember.
Alright, so I bring around this book now to write just random thingy-majigs. And so the first thing I wrote was thoughts on the page, the book. So now this is like thoughts on the page, the book, the podcast.
Well, when you say the book, is it like the Bible or is it just
it's
the
just
book?
The book until I run out of pages on this one and I have to make the book part 2. Yeah. In which case it'll probably be the same exact content. I'll probably rewrite most of it also since it's I think the same 5 things just on loop constantly.
Alright.
What is it saying here?
What ideas did you write down in there?
The first topic idea. Well, the first thing I wrote was the night. Okay. I said the night before second draft, which in theory could be the 3rd or 4th draft. I don't keep track anymore. We could talk about that.
Yeah, let's give a little history on that. Both you and I have had different, but multiple experiences in the Army. Actually not completely different. Some together, some apart. You started off in Hadassa.
Yeah. The beginning, like the whole topic, I guess, for our origin was going to be like the beginning of things, right?
Yeah.
So this is a beginning. This is also like, how many beginnings can one have in their life? And according to the Army, on average, every 2 weeks, you could have a new beginning.
Let's give them some context.
So we joined the Army.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
The Israeli Army, to be specific.
Yeah, the IDF.
Yeah.
And we thought it would be a good idea, and it's proven to pay pretty well for the amount of work we do not do. So I started off in one unit, then they looked at me, or they heard me, and they said, you do not speak Hebrew. And I confirmed in English that I do, in fact, have 0 knowledge in Hebrew. Right. So they sent me, this is where our story mixes now, they sent me to a course to learn Hebrew, and Yona also started.
I started in a unit called Shirion, which is for tanks. Joe was in a unit called Hadassa, which is an infantry unit.
I broke my book.
Oh, he broke his book. Beginnings and endings in this podcast. Beginnings and not just beginnings, but also endings.
Should I rip the other one off?
I guess so. You might as well. Full send.
Right. It's like,
either do it.
You know why? Since you know what, this is a metaphor to like physical media to digital media. So it's like, oh man, my grandfather's gonna be like, oh, all these books dying. I'm like, yeah, mine died too, but I started a podcast, so.
Nice. Yeah, so I was in a tanks unit in the Israeli Army, and my Hebrew was very much non-existent. Before that, I had very to little none experience in speaking Hebrew.
Or English fluently, for that matter, am I right?
Yeah, I am very fluent in the language of English. I was born in America. I guess you guys now know that. But yeah, and so they were kind of mostly fine with my Hebrew being bad, but I wasn't so fine with that because there's a lot of difficult moments. So I decided to encourage them to allow me to go learn Hebrew at an Army Ulpan.
Well, they
course.
don't know what Ulpan means.
It's a course
It's just a
for
course,
Hebrew. Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah.
Sorry. Maybe you do know.
We just need to survive like 20 more seconds and we break our record for the first time we attempted this.
Wow. That's insane.
It is very, I'm impressed. I think we should have 10 whole seconds of undisturbed silence. Yeah, we did it.
That wasn't so undisturbed though.
It was, my brain was, after like 3 sips of this energy drink, a lot worse
Yeah.
could have happened.
So also another thing is Joe and I have known each other on and off for about like the last
That makes it sound a little.
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years.
Where we've been friends on and off again. Not like we've been fighting, just
Yeah.
we've
Or in any way, other way you'd say on and off.
yes, we are some just friends. Oh, sorry, we are just.
We're gonna need a lawyer after this. That's why.
We're just friends.
But we did start our knowing each other very physically.
Yeah.
So
When
take that as you will.
I'm actually going to clarify that because I don't want any implications. We were on the wrestling team, and whoa, yeah, that could amplify more stuff into our. Yeah, we've just been friends, and we went to.
You're very convincing.
Yeah, we went to high school together. He started.
Have you ever tried to pull that on your mom when you were younger? Like you're like, oh hey mom, like you didn't really know the difference between a guy and like a non-dude, you know? So you're just like hanging out. And your mom like overreacts. She's like, "No, we're just friends." And like 15 years later, you're like, "Shoot, we're just friends." You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, it was true then. But it's 15 years later, am I right? That's pretty close to 8 years. Like we should double check. You're just a friend, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We're just friends.
I can tell my mom that now.
Yeah. We both went to the same high school together. We took like a little sabbatical from each other for like 3 to 4 years, sort of.
Well, I wouldn't say we took it. It was just life.
It happened.
Yeah, well, we're all,
unintentionally.
like very much at different aspects of our life.
Yeah. Meaning he went straight from high school to a gap year program called Levatora, which I did too.
I didn't do that.
Oh no, he didn't. My bad.
No.
He went to a gap year program called Mivaseret.
Correct. In the town of Mivaseret, which a lot of people struggle with for some reason.
But in the district of Yerushalayim.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. In a way.
The problem is, though, we still don't get to drink twice on.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Because it's not within the confined walls.
But it is, like, legally, the legal system would say you live in Yerushalayim. but the true legal system, if you will, says otherwise.
Oh. Okay. So it's like the old, like not like the old.
Yeah, like the old and then like the new.
Yeah.
Key.
Well, it's like where we live now in Beit Shemesh. There's one person, I believe, maybe more, who knows, who says that.
Oh yeah.
Beit Shemesh is in an enclosed.
No one knows what
city.
we're talking about, by the way.
Right. So we're 2 Jewish guys, actually. That's a fun fact.
As
another
all
informational
good podcasts start, it always starts with at least one Jewish guy.
Yeah, the freaking Jews, am I right?
Really, it's a problem.
Yeah. And in Judaism, like, we celebrate a holiday called Purim. And depending on where you live in Israel, specifically Israel, you hold which a Purim is by the fact that it had a wall surrounding the city, or if it didn't. Now, if it didn't have a wall surrounding the city,
no one cares this much.
Yeah, no one cares this much, but hey, I'm fully dived in.
In short, to save you this entire class, that in itself will probably last 2 hours because this man's apparently very knowledgeable.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I just know.
You should. If you guys have any questions, please call 058
Not any of the
223.
No.
I definitely know the end of his number.
What if you gave a
.org.
full number and someone was like, "Yeah, I want to have a conversation with this guy," and actually called a person, and it was multiple people who were like, "Yeah, let's have a conversation," but they called.
Hopefully they get connected to some very like well-known like Hindi guy who's like could show them the path of like
Hinduism?
Hindu like enlightenment.
Enlightenment. Oh wow.
So that way they could still eat like whatever they want to eat, you know.
Damn. All right. Damn.
Back to the book.
Yeah, back to the book.
Back to the book.
Let's see what the topics are.
All right, let's get away from the army since it's very boring and it's our day off. It's been our day off for about 3 months now. But
our service has been the day off.
Yeah, we could do my bus topic that I like to rant about. That you forget about a lot with the bathroom rules and the bus rules, how they're kind of similar, but it makes no sense.
Why don't you start that?
All right, I'll start. All right, picture. Hopefully only men are listening to this because I feel like it doesn't apply for if you don't have urinals, right?
Maybe. I mean, I've never been a woman.
I'll have to ask my mom. But basically, there's rules to the bathroom, which dictates you go every other, like, you're using one.
Every other urinal.
Yeah, the next one has to be vacant.
Yeah.
Right? Unless it's like a sporting event, in which case no one cares anymore for some reason. They're all just going for like that home run and peeing and trying to get back.
Or your bus has a layover and it's been
it's been an extremely long
time. It's a time crunch.
Yeah, or if it's like urgent.
Yeah.
And however you define that. There's like arguments, whatever.
I think
don't make it weird, like obviously
no eye contact.
No eye contact, obviously no eye anything. Just
hand holding.
As long as you're aiming, you could close your eyes for all we care. Just least amount of eye.
No friendly
possible.
fire. No friendly
Correct.
Fire.
No, same rules as fishing. No no crossing.
Streams.
Yeah. Alright, so the rule is every other. Pretty like everyone agrees. It's probably in the Constitution somewhere. Don't do it.
Right.
The problem is, I don't know if it's everywhere, but at least here in Israel, it goes the same with bus seating, where it's if someone's sitting, you don't sit next to them.
Yeah.
And if it's 2 seats and then across from it is another 2 seats, it goes like 1 seat, and then there's 4 seats available, right? Only
right.
2 of them will ever be used.
Right, but this goes for town buses, not for town to town buses.
Yeah, like like kind of like the New York buses that don't go to like
out of New York City.
So the problem I have with this though is that people are very okay with literally standing on top of each other, like literally sardines.
Yeah.
But they won't sit next to each other when there's more space. Like there's more space now to be sitting than standing, and they'll still be. It looks like they're at a rave on a bus. That's pretty much what I picture.
Yeah.
So, come on, you're not peeing. Just sit down, and don't pee since people want to use the seat after you.
Well, it's this whole social thing. It's a mental block. You can't. Like, if you don't know the guy, you don't know where he's been, you don't know what he's done.
But you're standing, like, you're on top of him already.
Right. But if you're standing on top of him, it's like, if something happened, like if this guy was like a murderer, he's sitting down, you're on your feet, you can now run.
Okay, but let's say the bus did a short stop. You're way more gone. You're not just sitting with the dude, you're laying with the dude. You know what I mean? That's gotta be worse. You don't. If he is a psychomaniac, you don't know if it's a knife or something else. You know what I mean?
Right.
That could be anything in his pocket.
Well, but too friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have been that guy you were on and off with for like 8 years. You know? Do you sit next to him? Do you ignore him? Do you go to the army with him? I don't know.
Well, I think it's just something that everyone socially grows up with. Like you don't even necessarily start off that way. Like you go on the bus a few times, maybe even the first couple times you even sit next to the guy. But then you see around you, no one's sitting next to the other guy. What am I doing wrong here? Why isn't there a guy sitting next to the next guy? And why am I
No,
sitting next to this
see,
guy?
I agree with that. It's to me, it is also the socially normal thing that if there's like 5 people on that bus, 2, 3 people sit down, right?
Yeah.
But once it's 15 people, get most of the people sitting down.
Right.
Because otherwise you're just standing with the same amount of space that you could be sitting with.
Right. I don't know.
And yeah, that's as far as my thought process goes.
There's no logic to it. I don't think.
There's zero logic.
There's zero logic to it. It's just the way that the social standards are on the bus. You either have
I think it has to change in the bathroom before we change it on the bus, but that's gonna be the issue.
maybe higher urinals have like
it might
those
be stricter
walls.
on the bus than it is in the bathroom.
Maybe.
Because there is no situation where it's urgent enough to have to sit.
Well, there is a situation. It's the situation where the bus driver kind of gets involved and he's like, everyone sit down.
Yeah,
or,
but they don't. They don't care if you fly through that window. He has
They don't
insurance.
care, theoretically. But there's always those random moments where they're like, either everyone has to be sitting or everyone has to be off the bus. Because on the front of the bus it says how much they can have in capacity for standing and sitting. And the number for standing.
Yeah, but have you ever
lot.
watched that come into effect once?
No,
ever?
not really. Not on
No.
a town bus. Like buses that go out of town, 100% I've seen.
Yeah, but that's just since they don't have to stop.
Right. I've been on buses on a Friday afternoon when all the kids are getting out of school, all the parents are doing shopping for the weekend, and I've been like squished against the wall because.
But there was probably a seat open.
There was probably a seat open.
There was probably a seat.
Yeah, there was a seat
There
open.
was definitely a seat open.
But everyone wouldn't sit
you
there.
would not sit.
I would be the
And
guy to sit.
Look, I agree.
Oh.
Most people in this country smell god awful, you know. But I'm pretty sure smell goes up. So you're safer the lower you are to that ground, the safer you are.
It's true. It's true. You are safe.
You're in the most danger. You're tall.
I am.
I'm just gonna like start flapping my
Circle
hands
the
to get
air.
straight up towards you.
That works. I don't know. People are just stubborn. It's just how people are.
How people be.
How people be. What else you got in that
What else do I
fantastic
got? I know.
book that
I'm actually
just
running out
broke?
quickly though, since it's hard to write so many great ideas.
No, it's alright.
We can. Wait.
Well, here we could talk about something very simple actually. On the topic of beginnings, Joe, before we came together to actually begin this podcast, he's had many people come into his life suggesting, let's do a podcast together.
Yeah, beginnings aren't easy.
It's very hard to start a podcast. Like, the motivation alone
I actually wrote
requires
that.
so much.
I
There we
wrote-
go. We're
I
diving
wrote that
into
about
this
the
book already.
No, I don't know where it is.
It could be in your
it's this.
secondary.
It says proof to fact. You know how everyone's like, yeah, you just gotta start something, you know? Like,
Right.
you're talking about a hobby and, like, everyone wants to buy... Oh, what's a cool hobby? I don't have hobbies.
I don't have. I mean, I don't have hobbies in this country because the army is my
Alright,
life, as you know.
I'd say you like building stuff, right?
Right.
So, there's 2 ways to take that. Like, everyone's got their dad's old hammer somewhere, like, stuffed into the back. Like, your mom's been trying to get rid of it for years. Your dad says he cares about it, but doesn't know where it is. And now you want to get into, like, woodworking, yeah?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, most people, at least I'm like this, so now, because I'm like this, most people are like, yeah, I want to get into this hobby, I'm going to go out and buy, like, the fancy schmancy, not owned by my dad in the past hammer. TM. and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it, and you're talking about it and whatever, and then you buy it, and then you bought it. And, like, the hobby was more buying it than using...
The actual
doing
hammer.
actual woodworking.
Well, yeah.
So I think a podcast. First of all, a podcast is only as difficult as much as you take it seriously.
Mhm.
in which case continue listening to us, but we don't. And secondly, beginnings are only as hard as much as you don't start.
Right.
As in, we got the one piece of equipment that we needed to start, and then we started.
It was a microphone. That was the one piece of equipment.
Kind of, sort of. We started like a month later, but we started.
Yeah.
So also with this book, like, there could have been ink on this page, or there could have not been ink on this page.
But you started.
But I didn't need that stupid $10,000 pen to put ink on this page. I just had to start.
Yeah. It's true. It's hard to start.
And now I could make my own fake blue ink dollar bills and get my fancy pen through counterfeit.
Exactly. Like on the topic of like the whole starting thing, like back to like the construction or like doing woodworking. Like I used to love doing projects with my dad in America, but the second like we started the project, depending on the day, there was either motivation or there wasn't, and sometimes there just wasn't motivation.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
But you're doing it.
Yeah, you're doing it. But sometimes there's not so much motivation where you don't even do it. Like, it's
That's
just the idea,
yeah.
and the project just sits there. Like, you see it on TV, like the classic dad portrayal of, like, he loves doing house projects. He starts it, but he never finishes it.
Yeah.
Or if he starts it, he gets messed up, and then he never finishes it. And then they just hire, like, some
But there's
contractor.
definitely a difference between, like, since starting it means it could be done.
Right.
Not starting it
Means it's never going to get
means
done.
that it's never going to happen, right?
Yeah. You got to actualize the idea. And, speaking of actualizing an idea, we're struggling with the topic of picking a name for this podcast.
Yeah. Well, I think that was like part of the conversation. Part of like that's why I mentioned like we're not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Is because I tried to outsource almost everything about this project to someone else. To the point where I was that guy who just bought the thing and wasn't going to do it. Like, I bought the microphone, and then we have, as like a house apartment thing, we have 15-ish guys with us, and every single one of them was going to do this instead of me. And you get to hear my voice instead because... But, I was going to talk no matter what, but there's like, we got this drawing guy to like do the
logo.
Icon, logo. We got like 15 plus managers who didn't do anything since I didn't actually tell them what to do.
Shout out to the real OG Jakob Ginsberg.
Yep. We got our roommate. He's just a roommate. He doesn't actually have anything to do with this, but he lent us his bed to sit on. Lent us, and technically we're stealing it. What was the point I was going with? The energy drink kicked in, so now I'm just talking.
Oh gosh. I think the point is that
oh, right. The point was, the problem with the title is that we started, and we're trying to get props for starting. We never said it would be good.
No, definitely
and
not.
We never said that we'll have a name for the podcast or anything, mostly because no one else picked it for us.
We always talked about different names, though.
Yeah, we have a few.
Like
I came up with 2 new ones the other day.
Fantastic!
I told you one of them.
Well, remind me.
All right. So one of them is juiced up because
we have
energy
monsters,
drinks. Yeah. Every time we do anything, I wake up like once a week, and I have an energy drink once a week. So it's like my waking up correlates with my drinking of the Monster, and this podcast correlates with all of that, you know?
Yeah.
So there might not be too many cool stories if I'm in my bed 6 days a week, but so it's juiced up, and then the other one was called TheReset because every time we do this, it's probably going to be us beginning the podcast.
It's all about beginnings.
Exactly. So since we started this once and never finished it, right? Like this episode. This episode is technically 1.5 with like a lost episode.
Yeah.
So
you gotta search the dark web to find that episode. You'll never find it.
I'll post it somewhere. We'll do one of those like real life mystery games.
Yeah.
We'll do that, but no one's gonna be invested, so it's just gonna be like a real mystery.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I literally wrote a podcast about never truly beginning because they're always gonna be resetting. So it's called TheReset. So
That actually,
that was my two new ideas.
for two new ideas, those are very good ideas because, quite honestly, like, as good as the rest of them were, they were kind of just generic names.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, half of them were made by an AI. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, they were all made by an AI.
That's the other person we have to shout out. Free AI, not even like ChatGPT or anything else. Just the most free thing I could have found.
Right. So like every name that we came up with was based off the fact that we drink Monster Energy drinks each and every podcast, or at least once a week, if not more. Hopefully just once a week, so we don't kill our bodies too much. And the fact that our opinions can be very wacky, and they come from an the energy drinks,
Yeah, they definitely. We have zero soul until we drink this, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah. Where, like, one of the names was called Drink Hideout, or Energy Rant, or Rant Ranch, or Energy Foresight.
Or Doritos Ranch chip flavored energy drink.
Right.
The podcast. The show.
The last name that I have on my list that kind of just sums up actually how true this podcast is Highly Confused. We are highly confused.
Yeah, and each day just gets more. We really elevate the bar, you know?
Yeah, whether it is on what we're doing literally in the next 2 minutes, or whether it's what the name is going to be. We just don't know.
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Nameless. Like Shameless, but...
Nameless.
Probably, that's like an extremely inappropriate movie, right?
Shameless is not a movie, it's a show.
It's a show.
And it can be inappropriate at times. It is based off of, I think it's
Shameless. I mean, it sounds right to me. I don't know. I never watched it, but
I've watched.
If I had to go with like a synonym for Shameless, I'd go going to hell after filming this show.
Damn, the producer's gonna come after
That's
us.
one word, by the way. It has hyphens.
Oh, does it? Shameless or what? What has the hyphens?
You're going to hell right after producing the show.
Wow, that's
just one word.
That's a long hyphenated word right there.
At some point, the English language really got confusing, man.
It did. It did get really confusing. Another name that we came up with was the Black. I think it's called the Black Hat Cast. Now, that works in two ways. I guess kind of.
What's the second way?
The first way works sort of. Like, it doesn't fully work right now.
None of them worked until like 2 days ago.
Right. We're in between in the Army service where in tanks you get a beret that's in Hebrew called black. It's called a kumta, and the color of that beret is black.
Correct.
So we are the Black Hatters, but as well, we both wear black hats, which is also another way the name works. So the first reasoning right now, since we're in between in the service, because we don't exactly know what's going on right now with what unit we'll be in the next day, which also, yet again, like, we're just confused. Like, we're two confused
Actually,
guys.
I want to talk about that. I'm getting up since this is the moment I've been waiting for. I am, what is the word called? Debuting. English, I know.
Damn.
My comedy career. It's about 5 seconds long, one joke. I watched this guy react to like a female comedian, like the bad one, and he's like, whatever you do, don't do what she did. And she pretty much spent 15 minutes explaining all her jokes and then saying, don't be disappointed when you hear them, since I laid them out for you and you already know they're bad. So, I'll take 15 seconds, like a shortened version of that. I suck at jokes, don't be disappointed, it's really funny. Alright, I'm gonna sit down for now, though. So, we're in our predicament in the Army because of our language barrier.
Right.
Barrier. Just one. It's just one barrier, it's language.
Yeah, but it's...
Until we eat some more, and then it's gonna be a physical barrier too, but like, whatever, that's a later problem. And, language barriers, they're hard. They're not easy.
Not easy at all.
Could literally kill you.
Actually, yes.
Or just not get you what you wanted on your food, which might be worse. You might get a side of, like, chips and not a side of French fries. You know, it's like chips, French fries, whatever. That's really only an American problem. It's not even a language thing, but since we're the only one that say French fries, I think.
I don't know. Maybe people. I think if you learn English and you didn't originally speak English and you learned it off like TV shows, then you might actually say French fries because American
American
shows,
culture is just the strongest. Not culture, the American influence in that realm is the strongest.
shows, yeah. So, what's your joke? Lay it
all right,
on
no,
us.
well, I wanted to talk a little bit about how it's difficult but now that we got it, so we moved houses
It's been 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
but really it's been like a day.
We've lived here for we've lived more on buses than we've lived on base and or in our house.
Yeah.
So,
not to say that we're homeless. We have a home. We have a base.
We don't have a table.
We don't have a table. We have a nightstand, which in a way, it might be part of the table family, but it's also part of the dresser family.
And it could be a chair at the same time.
A chair works.
It's highly confused.
It's
meant to be here.
There we go.
It's part of the podcast now.
Part of the
podcast crew.
Welcome to the crew.
He's our manager. He's our 16th manager.
We can't stop collecting managers.
No, we're good at it. We should have a manager for all of our lost managers. Just keep track of them, so we know when to ignore them and when to like.
Yeah, we don't want to revisit old managers. We got to get new managers, not old ones.
All right. So we were moving, and we were helping moving our stuff since we had a lot of stuff collectively.
Yeah, we had movers, but we helped them move the stuff.
So we were on the second half of moving everything back into the new place, and one of the guys was carrying a bag, and he's Israeli. He had a little bit of English on him, you know.
Yeah.
Could probably get by in our army better than we could in their army, and so he's like, "Where does this bag go?" And I didn't see the name, but it had like a Disney logo, Disney like a badge thing on it.
Yeah.
So, oh shoot, what did I say? See, this is why I'm not a good comedian.
I think that was my bag, right?
No, I think it was someone else's.
Because I have a duffel bag with a Disney
right, so he's like, "Oh, where does this go?" And I'm looking at Florida sticker. I'm like, damn, I don't think this is ever getting to Florida, since it was like Disney, you know. And then he was just confused.
That would make sense for a guy who's Israeli, but speaks English just enough to get by, and has no context to what you're really saying.
Yeah.
Because he's not the guy looking at the Disney tag.
Yeah.
You're the guy looking at the Disney tag.
Well, there was no name. It was just Disney tag. So I'm like, I don't think it's getting there, man. It's a little far. It's like 6,000 miles away.
Well, if you really think about it, the Disney tag probably had a backing to it. And on the backing, it probably had a name, address. You could fully send it to Florida now.
I think the guy who made...
You got all the information.
I think the guy who made, like... Who made Disney again?
Disney? Walt Disney?
Walt. Yeah, no, but my boy Walt. I don't like the Disney part. Like, his name was probably on the back also, you know? Right next to China. Walt Disney.
Made in China.
Walt Disney China.
Okay. Yeah.
Time check. We're doing good.
How much time are we in?
We're to this? 3, 4... Wait, awkward silence for like 6 seconds. We're 34 minutes in.
Wow, 34 minutes in. Who would have thought that we would have made it this far? When it took us a total of 6 minutes last time.
If I was reviewing, can we do a little review?
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap up.
Yeah.
If I was reviewing the entertainment value of this, first of all, I'd say I'm flipping hilarious and should get praised.
But you're dating yourself.
Okay. Yona, let's be real. The fans agree. You suck, alright, man? You gotta do better. But we did definitely pick it up after like the 6-minute mark. The 6 minutes was boring, jewel fest, pretty much. Like the first 8 minutes, not fun.
Yeah, so we had to get in a flow. I think there was a flow that was.
Yeah, it's our first time. No one's gonna see this one anyways. It's just for us.
Yeah.
And
All right.
I don't even know where to post this, so
Yeah.
it could just stay on my phone forever.
Or it'll land on YouTube or
That's a
something
good
like
place.
that. YouTube's.
You know those like, listen to where you get all your podcasts now. That guy.
Yeah.
That's too many places for us. We need one place.
I actually gotta say something. I don't go on my phone enough to actually know this, but today, I probably knew this beforehand, but I went on my phone and I was like, there's an app called Podcast?
Google Podcast.
No, but I have an
Apple
iPhone.
Podcast.
It's an Apple
Yeah, they're
Podcast.
both just called Podcast.
It's just Podcast.
Yeah.
But then I got curious to be like, oh, can we start recording on podcasts? Or is it just like, Storm, you go
there's
listen
a separate app even on, what's the popular, like, third-party podcast? Come on, give it to me. You know, let's go.
I just don't know. I just don't know what the name of
Do you
the
think that
podcast
stops
is.
recording if
No,
I
it
jump
doesn't.
out?
It still
It
continues.
continues?
Yeah, it continues.
Alright, we'll go with that. Is that on my phone?
Nope,
That
just
just
a
says
bunch of army.
podcasters. That just says what's that?
Spotify?
Spotify has a podcasting recording app, which we are not using because this is just click and done.
Click and done.
No editing for this. No, click and done. Probably the audio has to be completely like audited.
Yeah.
But that's the manager's job, and we don't have that, so it's shipping out as is.
So a quick sum up of what we got, what we are in the end is two guys who on our free time from the army, which is extremely
all the time.
Yeah, it's all the time, but it's also extremely unpredictable. We never know when the actual date comes when we actually have a free moment. So our podcasts will be as often as we would like it, but we'll see. Like, I don't know. Like every other week, if we're lucky enough.
The problem is we also do have a lot of time most of the time, but it takes us an hour to settle into something, then half an hour to actually set it up.
Yeah.
And want to do it.
Yeah.
As in, we get home and it takes an hour to think, half an hour to be like, all right, we will and are gonna start doing it, and then I say something like, oh, we'll start in 10 minutes, which is, it's like your parents shopping. You're gonna be 10 minutes in 20 minutes from now.
Right.
If someone doesn't bump into someone they know. In which case, have fun eating dinner in the store and having to pay for an open box that you already finished.
This is basically represents the topic that we've been talking about, beginnings and actualizing that idea. Here's us actualizing an idea that probably took at least 8 years from random different minds coming to that idea and finally actualizing the idea here and now.
Right now, right here, only on 2K Sports.
Yep, we're sponsored by 2K
That'd be
Sports. Not
crazy.
actually. But if Monster Energy Drink is listening to this for some crazy reason, which is probably not at all remotely possible.
But we also could threaten them, so once you're done asking, we will
sponsor our Monster Drinks, or
we'll jump forward to what. There's nothing good. Honestly, you guys are the only good ones.
Yeah.
But I will go. No, there's this new hippie, like only for the health people, new one here, and it doesn't taste good, but it does not kill you as quickly.
Oh,
Since
and
it's
what
no
is this
sugar
name?
somehow.
Do you know the name of this drink?
All-Star? No,
All-Star?
that's a different one. All-Star's nasty.
Isn't that basketball?
No, that's
baseball.
That's like it's the worst one. No, I don't remember it. But I'll know it when I see it. And Monster. There's no good Monster pun here that I could think of.
But hey, Monster and Mango, we drink that all day, every day. Not actually, because we'd be dead.
I'm looking at it now, and this symbol is literally a heart with a sword through it.
Heart with the sword through it? Oh.
That cannot be a good sign.
Hey, we're survivors. We're survivors. We're surviving the army. We're surviving these monsters. They're fantastic. They taste delicious.
We drink them for you guys. Really, we drink them for the fans now.
Yeah, for the
Definitely
fans.
not for our own
Benefits.
enjoyment.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Thank you for stopping by.
This is, yep. as I'm just gonna keep on talking over him as he does the "you go for it, man." Just keep on going.
No.
And we'll see you next time. 47 minutes.